over. So we did this yesterday. No, Andres, you weren't here, but you're going to be fine, I think, after this. So the only difference between yesterday, like the link from yesterday and today, is that we have multiple terms. So we have polynomials instead of just monomials, all right? And all of these are going to be antiderivatives, all right? You see the integral symbol, you see the dx. We're taking the antiderivative with respect to the x variable. If you want, you can always separate these. So I'll show you, Andres, what I mean. You can separate them into their own if you'd like. I'll be honest with you, I don't do this. It just takes more time to show all that work. If I'm doing this on the AP exam, I'm just going to try to mentally do all the antiderivatives separately. All right, but then, all right. Thank you so much. You as well. It's a tardy reflection for some students that need to get to class on time. But what I do is after.
Oh, that's what it is.
It is. After I do the antiderivative, I always take 10 seconds to take the derivative to see if I got it right. All right. If you're not doing that in the AP exam, you might get it wrong. And these are supposed to be gimme points. Right? Antiderivative is supposed to be like the simple ones. Okay. Oh, Anita. Oh, nice. Well played. I don't see it because I was doing it yesterday. I love it. Sure, let me check. I do. This is my last one, though. She doesn't care.
How many words is that?
All right. Now, the first one, Andres. See, the first one says -1. Whenever you have negative, or whenever you have a number only a number, it's always going to be that number with the x, right? Because if I took the derivative of negative x, I would get -1. So you always do that, okay? Now here's how, we're just going the different direction, yeah, okay? Now this next one, here's how you do this one, you ready? So I see x cubed, so I'm going to write down x to the 4th power. You add 1. So add 1. And then once you do that, what's the reciprocal of the number I just wrote? 1/4. But there was a 3 already there. So I don't put 1/4. I put that 3 in the numerator to be 3/4. We're okay? Okay. Now the next one is a little bit tricky. So write your x. What's -2 plus 1? -1. All right. What's the reciprocal of -1? -1, right? So in theory, I'd have a -1 here. But what's this here? There's a -3. What's a -3 times a -1? +3. And just if you don't do that correctly, I say the third one is the one I would expect. If you're going to make a mistake, it would be that last one. Just take a moment. Take the derivative. What's -1 times 3? -3, and then what's -1 minus 1? -2. So you get the correct stuff. So this is the answer, except what Angel learned yesterday. You gotta put plus C because, Andres, it could be minus a constant, it could be plus a constant. We don't know. It could be any of those. C is just, you're gonna see in January. Thanks, David. When we do definite integrals where they have limits of integration there, that we're going to choose 0 for C if we get the choice. Okay. Everybody good on number 1? Let's do number 2. Number 2, can I not separate them this time and just see if we can do it just mentally? Okay. No, good question. I said no. I was pretty confident in that, but I don't actually. I didn't do the link, so I'm not sure. So when you're doing the link, just try typing this in first. And if it says it's wrong and everything else, and I check that everything else is good, maybe, but I don't think you had to. Did no one do it? You didn't have to, right, Julia? Okay. Thanks, Julia. Good thing you're here. Okay. So I'm going to write x to the 6th power, because I see x to the 5th. Do the reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of 6? 1/6. That's what I would write, but there was already a 2. So that's really 2/6, which is 1/3. I think they might count 2/6 wrong.
You have to reduce.
I don't know, but I would reduce. I mean, that's just a rule. You do have to reduce? Okay.
Yeah.
Burnett said you got to reduce. Okay. minus x to the 5th power. What's the reciprocal of that 5? 1/5, but there was a 4 there, so I'm writing minus 4/5. And then, again, I see a constant. I see minus 1, so I'm writing minus x. If that had said minus 2, I'm writing minus 2x. Don't forget to put plus c. One more. Last one. All right, I'm going to put one more than x to the 4th power is x to the 5th power. Reciprocal of 5 is 1/5, but there was a 3 there. So I'm putting 3/5. I'm actually going to, whenever I see negative exponents, I always usually leave the sign. I don't put a sign yet because I don't know if it's going to be plus or minus. So I'm just going to leave nothing there for now. I'll put a sign in a moment. Add 1 to -3. What's -3 plus 1? -2. What's the reciprocal, bless you, of -2? Negative, don't forget, it's still negative, 1/2. But there was a 5 there, so I'm going to put -5/2. And just because I'm paranoid, I don't want to miss this on the AP exam, I always take a moment to take the derivative here. What's a negative times a negative? As a positive, 5/2 times 2 is going to be 5, and then when you subtract 1 from that, you get -3. All right, so always check, right? It's worth the 10 seconds.